Hello, good morning, or whatever time it is that you're joining me. This is your reading for Thursday, March 27th, 2025. And as you can see, I'm still using the Light Seers Tarot by Chrisanne. And I have left the cards upright so that you guys can see the beautiful artwork, but I will most likely give you the information for upright and reversed, and you can decide what works for you, but always with the solution as to how a reversal can be worked with. Okay, so what is it that we most need to know for today? What would be the most helpful information for today? Right there. Okay, ooh, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the morning. That's awesome. Maybe some Dreamtime guidance that came through. Oh, goodness. Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. Wow. That looks like a really wonderful evening. But again, I'll read it both ways. So when we're in the realm of the Queen, it's watery energy, which just, I probably should have written that differently when I did put the glyphs on the cards. Watery just means receptive, okay? Receptive and moving to the lowest point of gravity, right? So her energy is very, very compatible, with the Pentacles, because she is the Queen of Pentacles. So in this deck, she's just kind of holding the pentacle, but her eyes are closed, and she knows she has it. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, she's holding it and looking down at it. I think that's pretty much the same meaning. We don't have the little rabbit to show the fertility there. We don't, we don't have such an ornate crown. That's the difference with this deck. Chrisanne kind of left out the crowns. Except this dude's got a floating crown. So maybe I'm just missing things here and there. Anyway, so Queen of Pentacles for first thing in the morning, and this relates to any earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, and it's that, grounded element of the practical realms, practical side of life. You get up, you take care of things, you get things done. Maybe you're very, very grateful for your home, and it's like, oh, I love my bed kind of thing. Oh, but I have to get up. Maybe it is, if we were working at it or coming from a more challenging perspective, it could be that there's too much focus on work and you don't maybe lounge around a little bit in bed first and kind of do some stretches, and just sometimes you just get up and you go, and because you have so much to do. And the only challenge to this card, if it were to have come through reversed, it would have been looking at things from the side of trying to keep work-family balance going. Also, honoring our commitments. If we're having trouble, when we get up in the morning, we're having trouble honoring our commitments throughout the day, then that tells you that's kind of Queen of Pentacles reversed energy. But I love this artwork, and no matter which deck, I absolutely love the energy of sitting in that place of having what it is that you're working on manifesting, already having it. That is how you bring it in. And what the theme is all about for the day is the Nine of Pentacles. So it is having so much more than you could ever need. This is Venus and Virgo. This is that love for nature all around you. This is that love and enjoyment, the luxury of practical life. Being grateful. We have kitchens. We have running water that's clean. We have toilets indoors. And yeah, we have to clean them, but it's like if we just look at the practical side and go, I have a toilet indoors. I'm not having to go out to an outhouse, because I'm sure we had lifetimes like that, right? But the pentacles and the cups work well together, because, of course, the pentacles hold together. You know, they're made of form and structure. Just think of Saturn as being structure, and then the sign or the planet of Neptune ruling water. Without the river banks to hold in the water, we wouldn't have rivers, right? Water would just go. So, and then think of the way that water forges the riverbanks, because it's the lowest, it has that gravitational pull, and we have storms, you know, to do things like that, right? These valleys and these channels of water. So, yeah. When you just think about nature, there are so many spiritual laws evident just in nature alone, if we just observe nature. And I feel like today that's what the King of Cups is about, because, you know, he's the primo. It's the element of air, so we're talking structure and intellectual genius, reasoning, a high level of reasoning mixed with water. So to bring that together in the true meaning, we're dealing with emotional integrity, emotional balance, you know, emotional intelligence, being able to control the emotions. He's fine with being in the water and just sitting there. Maybe he's floating. And all this energy is coming from his heart. And of course, this is all the Cancer, all the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So, this is the, you know, honoring every little feeling that flows by, but being okay with it, and knowing that emotional reactions come and go. And if we just allow ourselves to have our feelings, that's how we heal. And that's how we get to the place where we're like the King of Cups, because he's gone through all of that process over and over and over again until he doesn't need to anymore. And then you start trusting the feelings. And you know, of course you can have, like I said, an emotional reaction. Like you could go into anger. Well, maybe it's healthy anger. Maybe, you know, look and see why you're angry, right? I always like to go with that rule that every time we feel any type of unpleasant emotions, you know, anytime they come up, like, you know, anxiety even, or resentment, especially anger, is to ask myself, you know, what do I really want? Like, what is it that I want that's coming from that feeling or that emotional reaction? And then when you get in touch with what it is that you really want, you might start to see why you don't have that in your life, or who is mirroring something in you that you don't want to look at, or who's trying to control you and manipulate you so that you don't get what you want. And that would be the King of Cups reversed. That could also be the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or the Queen of Cups. Any of the queens, any of the kings will most likely come from that place of trying to control and manipulate. So yeah, but focusing in on the Nine of Pentacles, boy, just focus in, especially with the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine together, and then the feeling it. We could look at all three of these cards and say these could be on our altars to help us remember how to manifest. By being in the luxury of what you already want. You already have it, being in it, and the Queen of Pentacles, and then the need to feel, right? Feel that you already have it. So, okay, cool. Let's look at the astrology, and to honor all that watery energy with the King of Cups and the Queen of any sign, we have the Moon in Pisces starting out at 5 a.m. Now, actually, what I should say, first of all, is that at 1:40 a.m., right here, see how Mercury retrograde. Oh wait, it must be in the evening. Must be 1:40 p.m. Let me see, because Mercury retro. No, it's Venus. It's Venus retrograde. Where's Venus? Yeah, there she is, right there, right there. I'm reading my notes wrong. I have a little notepad over here. As I looked up, I looked up the time. So Venus moved back to, it's 5 a.m. here for this one. But Venus moved back to Pisces, went from Aries back to Pisces at 1:40 in the morning. And by 6:13 a.m., Venus will be exactly conjunct Neptune. Now, let's talk about Venus and Neptune, okay, because they're powwowing together for a reason. So, Venus, to me, is personal love. Venus helps us try to get into harmony and the unitive state. Venus is the planet that represents our relationships and our money. And sometimes, it helps us to make comparison values, and it helps us with our self-worth. In Pisces, there's more compassion and there's more openness to something bigger, because Pisces represents the all. It can be very mystical and very intuitive, and we can have good experiences of good, imagination, right? It can be really, really good, like I said, for artistic projects. We had a lot of that yesterday. And also, for compassion and being sensitive. So we may be more sensitive to relationship nuances with this little, coming back. Because remember, Venus had already crossed over Neptune. So now she went into Aries for a little bit, and then she's back. And Neptune, to me, is spiritual, unconditional love. So we kind of have conditional love mixed with unconditional love, both in Pisces. You might want to be careful about getting back into a relationship that seems to, now, and it could also be that you do get back into a relationship because forgiveness has happened, and they were truly sorry, or you were truly sorry, and they've forgiven you, and you don't have to forget, but you can still understand where they've come from, and they really don't want to lose you, or you don't want to lose them. So you just agree to love each other even though you don't agree on some levels, or you have forgiven any, sometimes it's a boundary violation where you had to step in, and which is hard, when it comes to Pisces. Boundaries are very much needed, but often hard to hold or even come into when you have a lot of water in your chart. Or when you're getting triggered by these planets, this huge lineup in Pisces. 5 planets plus the North Node. Wow. So that's the deal. It's about relationships. It can be about money when it comes to Venus. And Neptune, we have to be careful about deception. So we do have to be careful about being deceived in relationships, especially if it's somebody who's been an addict and they're saying they're not using, but they really are. Then you find out the facts later because, of course, we have the South Node holding space in Virgo at 27 degrees, no less. So things can be intense with those later degrees. And it'll be on the 30th, like I was saying yesterday, Neptune will move into Aries. Venus is still going back. She's going to go all the way back to 24 degrees. So she's going to get very close to the North Node, but not completely, in an exact conjunction. So what that means is that our path in life is still, because North Node can be going forward And I never want to say, like, you don't want to go backwards, because to me, it's always about balancing out the polarities. Like, the South Node isn't bad. It's a well of wisdom from the past experience. North Node is not the way you want to force the way to go, because you need the past experience. You need your hindsight. So hindsight of the facts, hindsight of what is healthy, hindsight of trying to bring divine order, more divine order into your life, the hindsight of letting go of the need for perfection from yourself and others, and then moving forward into something that's more compassionate and open and maybe even artistic. And the real need to take self-responsibility, because especially Saturn is right there at 23 degrees. So Venus is going to hook up, it's going to cross over the North Node and even hook up with Saturn by April 12th. Okay, so remember that. So all of the inspiration we have right now will be tested between now and April 12th. And then that's when Venus will station direct for just a little bit, and then go back the other way towards Aries. So if you feel like you're going back over old territory between now and April 12th, we probably are. We probably all will. Except, thank goodness that we have the eclipse coming up, because that's going to bring in some clarity as to the change that would be good for each one of us individually. We'll figure that out when we get there, and that's just how it's going to be. But it'll be at 9 degrees. The moon will conjunct the sun at 9 degrees of Aries. The moon will have, by that new moon solar eclipse, the moon will have crossed over Ceres, Saturn. So up against Ceres, we're looking at our maternal imprint. We're looking at the big, bright, possible future of all possibilities. And then also trying to be in a place where we, because the moon is always about the mood. So we're wanting to think bigger when the moon's in Pisces. It's mutable, and it's water, mutable water, so it's adaptable. And I think it's just absolutely perfect that we got the King of Cups. So I think that's a good thing to remember, that we got him for a reason, and it's to help us to work on any old residue of our issues with our moms, and possibly with our dads. As the moon moves closer to Saturn, we have the moon will conjunct Ceres at about 9 a.m. because it goes a half a degree every hour, so 3 degrees. Well, actually, the moon's almost at 10. So before 9 a.m. And then let's see, how long will it take? Let me keep going forward. How long will it take for the moon to get to? It might actually be tomorrow. I think so, of course it will be. Yeah, because, that's 3 p.m. 17, if it can get to about, in the evening. So this is 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight. Now, this makes for awesome dream time if there's something that you really want to know. Because Saturn, especially if you want to know what your karma is, I'll never forget. I set that intention. I was at a weekend workshop and just knew that I had to know my karma. Like, what's my karma? Like, why the hell am I here? So I set the intention to know, and I had this dream that was just, I still remember every detail of it. Of course, I wrote it all down, but in hindsight, I realized I didn't even need to. And that dream has still, it's been with me all since then. So what is this, 25 years? And I always just kind of hold on to that. It's like, remember, it's not about rescuing other people. That was my karma this lifetime, rescuing everyone else at the expense of myself. So anyway, let's go backwards to... there's the 9 a.m. where you can see Ceres is now on the other side. So that would be noontime Eastern. And I would say the main thing is just that with the square between the moon and Jupiter that's building in the morning and then becomes more, even closer and closer to the exact point all day with Jupiter. This is about healing by questioning your false beliefs, healing by talking through it. This is a great time if you have a therapist. This is a great time. Or I have training in therapy, so you can book a session with me. But this is, and I'm booked up through the end of mid-April. I do still have some spots in April. So, but anyway, Jupiter in Gemini brings through that need to expand your mind. But I like to do that by questioning my false beliefs rather than, or if you want to learn anything though, actually, no matter what it is, Jupiter in Gemini is fantastic for that. And it's at the halfway point. The moon in Ceres is as well. So we're in that point of learning lessons. The second, decan of the sign, the 10 to 19 degrees is always about learning lessons. So these could be spiritual lessons. These could be lessons in art projects, lessons, and maybe even just sharing information. It might be teaching, because Jupiter is the planet of teaching. You might be teaching. These may be teaching projects. So yeah, and all the other aspects are the same. We still have the aspect of the architect coming to the hinge point is on Uranus. So it's all about inventing new ways of having more security and safety in your life, and self-esteem, valuing yourself, being faithful to yourself, being careful about getting stuck, not allowing yourself to be pushed or rushed. You take your time. It's your time, right? Time is yours in your life. You get to decide what you do with your time. So yeah, and then Neptune, which is going to, even when Neptune moves into Aries, we're still going to have this sextile. We've had it before, and now it's come back, of course. But the sextile here is an opportunity. Now, we still have to, do the manifesting work, but it's the opportunity to spiritually come into your power and free your soul, become more independent, reinvent yourself, working with your guides, your guardian angels, coming from your higher self, which is right there inside of you. Remembering the universe is inside of you, and you are a creator. You are of the same essence as the whole creation of the universe. Just remember that. If you could remember that every day. Instead, what we tend to do is go into victimhood and think that the outer world is controlling our inner reality, when the truth is we have colluded with the outer world in what's going on out there and everybody else's reality. Everybody else's reality does not need to be yours. If the news is causing you anxiety, if you're comparing yourself with other people and what they have and you don't have, you are violating spiritual law. So stop doing that. If you compare yourself to someone else, you are violating spiritual law. Remember that. If you're compulsively going towards things that other people have so that you can feel better about yourself, you're also violating spiritual law. It's like compulsion and comparison. The two C's to stay away from. There's probably another one that I haven't thought of, but those two I know for sure. So it's helpful to question what motivates us. That would be Mars. Mars trining Saturn, and the moon getting ready to conjunct in there, throughout the night, will bring in a lot of power when it comes to manifesting, and then especially just trusting your psychic intuitive abilities. That there's so much psychic awareness when it comes to the water trine of which we don't have anything in Scorpio right now, but water, Cancer, growth, not growing Cancer, but Cancer is related to things that grow. And then Scorpio going deep and always, going through that deeper process of transforming anything that doesn't work anymore and digging your heels in and not letting go, and then rising like the phoenix out of the ashes and connecting with Pisces, the all. Okay, so remember, you are a part of the all. So that's it. That's it for today. There's more I could talk about, but I think it'll make the video too long, and those aspects will still be there tomorrow. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye.